So to a lot of people, I was the first verse that they ever heard from Nappy Roots. My first song was like 48 bars with no hook. And we did David Letterman very early in our career. And I remember we were doing it with a band, first time performing with a band. And we had this idea, somebody did anyway, that we start the show right on beat where I start rapping. And if I messed it up, like as the curtains rolling back, Nappy Roots, I had to be right on point with the way I dropped that verse on David Letterman. But there was no nerve to it, man, because all 6 of us was out there for the first time. And they was like, yo, Scales, you got this. Like, you got this, bro. You set it off, we right behind you. What up, y'all? This your boy Fish Scales, member of Nappy Roots, co-owner of Atlantucky, former Division I basketball player, creator of ideas, small town country boy. My early career, man, started as a young kid who just fell in love with hip hop. I take it back to LL Cool J, Houdini. I had a cousin who was very into hip hop, KRS-One, all the underground stuff, all the top level stuff. He kind of introduced that to me in the early 80s, Biz Markie, and that just changed my life right away. I knew that is something I wanted to do. I wanted to be a rapper, and that was my goal, to become a rapper, and I daydreamed every day about it. And as well as seeing Magic Johnson around the age 10 or 11 years old, I did the same thing I did with rap. I said, that is what I want to be. I want to be a basketball player. And that led me to always dreaming about being rapping on stage or playing basketball on the court in front of millions of people. And fortunately, I've been able to do both. I started writing lyrics when I was 9 years old. 3rd grade, I would be in class writing words. My cousin was a DJ. He would give me a topic to write about. I'd come back a week later with three pages of lyrics, not knowing how to write a song. So I would just write, not even know about a hook. I would just write lyrics. And that, I grew taller. I became like 6'2" in 9th grade. So basketball became more realistic to me. And fortunately, I was able to play by my 10th grade. And, it was just great, man, because I was able to become an all-state player in 1 year. I'd never played organized basketball before until the 10th grade. And I was fortunate enough to become an all-state, honorable mention on a lot of lists. But the most important part, I was recruited heavy by colleges all over the country just for basketball, which that was an opportunity that not many people get coming from Millersville, Georgia. So basketball became a thing. I got a scholarship. I had an opportunity to go to the NBA. And so I went to Western Kentucky University, which is a great program that sends players to the NBA. And my dream was off and running in 1995. How did sports kind of translate into the music industry for me? Well, we got signed to a record deal in 97. And I went to college on a basketball scholarship in 95. So I was still playing basketball when I got a record deal. And now that I think back, the NIL deals weren't there then. So I probably was breaking the law and didn't know it. Breaking the NCAA rules anyway. But basketball, man, I always say this. I think every parent should kind of make their kid play a sport up to high school because of what it teaches you, or some kind of organized activity. What I learned from sports is competition. I learned that somebody's out there right now that can kick your butt. And if you don't prepare for it, and if you don't keep working at what you're doing, they will come in here and kick your butt right on your court, on your field, on your diamond, whatever it is. So I learned competition because I got my butt kicked a lot in basketball. We had a couple bad years at Western, and it wasn't what I thought it was. it wasn't as easy like it was in the backyard. It wasn't as easy like it was in high school. It was a lot harder because everybody was all state, everybody was all Americans, and everybody's fighting for their position. And it taught me that, man, it's not gonna be easy. You got to go in a room and conquer it. And that's the same thing with going in the studio. A lot of people don't know when you go record a song, a lot of times you got your partners, you got your partner's friends, you got an engineer, you got the record label, you got a lot of people in the room that's just waiting to hear what you're gonna do when you go in the booth. And so you got to be all in, and you got to be confident in the work that you put in, that you deserve to be here. You know, and that's what sports taught me. Like, bro, you gotta, listen, man, you here for a reason. Go out there and perform. And I guess that's what it taught me. You gotta perform. Sports are done by numbers. It's judged by numbers. End of the game, one team has more points than the other. So, you know, you learn quick how much did you produce? Did you produce or not? You know, you kind of see that right away. Music's a little different. There's not a lot of numbers to quantify what you're bringing to the table, but in my head, I always looked at it like you got to hold it down for your team. You got to hold it down for Nappy Roots. You got to be the power forward, which means you might not be the one taking the shot, but be there ready to rebound it. You know, be there on the weak side when somebody miss a play that you can help them out. So that's what I took from sports to music. Man, what sticks out to me about the early years chasing our dream as Nappy Roots, I mean, the camaraderie, man, between the members of Nappy Roots. We made it easy for each other, man, because we were all doing it for the first time together. Like, we was opening Jay Leno together. We did David Letterman, and I'll mind you, our first song was "Oh No, Hell No," that got to the masses. And I got the first verse on it. So to a lot of people, I was the first verse that they ever heard from Nappy Roots. My first song was like 48 bars with no hook. And we did David Letterman very early in our career. And I remember we were doing it with a band, first time performing with a band. And we had this idea, somebody did anyway, that we start the show right on beat where I start rapping. And if I messed it up, like as the curtains rolling back, Nappy Roots, I had to be right on point with the way I dropped that verse on David Letterman. But there was no nerve to it, man, because all six of us was out there for the first time. And they was like, yo, Scales, you got this. Like, you got this, bro. You set it off, we right behind you. And it was amazing. Like, it was so easy because of that. Like, because if, you know, we was in it together, bro. We was in it. Everything I seen for the first time, they were seeing for the first time. They were experiencing the first time. So we were fighting together. And I just don't know how it is for solo artists. My hat goes off to them because I don't even want that. Like, I love what we did as Nappy Roots. And the early 2000s, the late 90s were different, man. It's just not better or worse. I'm not one of those old rappers who, you know, just bitter. I think it was just different, and people really stopped to listen to your music back then. It wasn't as much music as it is now, and we were confident in what we had as Nappy Roots. We just felt like, bro, you just gotta listen. Put this CD in your car right now, bro, and we'll walk off. We were so confident that if you just play the CD, we would meet people at gas stations, give them a CD. Bro, you ain't got $5, go ahead, keep it. Cause we knew like we had something special. And that was fun, man, to have the energy that we had. You know, as you get older, it's hard to maintain the love because you got so much other stuff going on, but that was a love and a hunger that we'll never have again. How have Nappy Roots been able to maintain our brand? I think one thing is, man, we really specialized at a point in our career when we could have just gave up. we made an effort to really go out and hit every small town we could hit. We made it an effort, man, to beat these, because there's way more small towns than big cities. And big cities have a lot of distractions. We went out and hit Colorado for 2 weeks every January. And we would hit probably 12 different towns, not cities, towns in Colorado. Just the ski resort to ski resort, little weed town to weed town. Then we would go to Oregon. We'll hit like Hood River, Oregon, places, man. And these are the most beautiful places in the country. We would just work that whole West Coast. We would do the same in the Southeast. Just go wherever people wanted us. And we would give a lower price sometime because we knew in order to keep this brand alive, man, we got to get in the van, pack our shit, drive across country. We were driving. We packed our merch up. We brought Boogie, our merch manager. We brought a video guy, my man Yeager. We brought Rello, who did multiple jobs, from driver to security to DJ to road managing. And we just grinded these towns, man. And I'm talking some nights breaking even. But we look back on it, it started becoming like a tradition. Like it was like a family reunion. Every time we go to Vail, certain people would hit us like, you already know what it is. And these people were so loyal and so supportive. I'd be like, you need a ticket for the night? Ah, man, we already got our tickets. We got our tickets a long time ago for y'all show tonight. And we talking 300 to 500 seat, if that, bro. Some of these were 200 people would pack these places out. And we would just go grind. And I promise you, these were the best shows and best memories I've ever had, man. I want to start naming the towns, but then I get into a whole thing. But I do remember them. I remember the people there. I remember most of them named. We're friends on Facebook. We're friends on Instagram. And we had moments, dog. We had crazy ass moments where they've seen me grow, where I get to see them grow, and it created something. It's like people out there will ride for Nappy Roots because of what we did as far as going small town to small town. And the music got to be good. We feel like we make music that's part our brand. Part our brand. We can't do what Lil Baby do. We can't do what Drake do. We can't do what Goody Mob do. Even though we come from that tree, we have to create our own brand and stick to it. Yeah, beer is fun, man. Collaborations are a huge part of what we do for beer. Just like music, you collaborate with the right person or business, it can do a lot for you. But for us, man, we just, same with music. I'll start with music. We've been collaborating with younger artists from around Atlanta. Atlanta has been the mecca, or at least the centerpiece for hip hop for a while now. And there's a lot of artists out here who you don't know, who's not signed to QC, who's not signed to 21 Savage label or Baby's label. There's a lot of artists here that you may not know yet that you can come and discover. And that's the beauty. We've been trying to work with all of them because they are very talented artists out here, man, as many people know. But we've been collabing with younger artists. If you hadn't seen it, check out Nappy Roots. We put out 4 albums in the past 6 years, I think, 6 or 7 years. But collaborations are fun. It gets to test our skills, see if we still up, see if we still got it. We did a song with Grip. Shout out to Grip. Hopefully that comes out soon. And Grip killed it. Did a song with Jaron Benton as well. And if anybody knows, like, these guys rap. So to do a song with these guys, Alien Craft, Big Mart, you got to be on your game. You got to be able to do what they're doing now. So that's a good test. But as far as beer, collaborations are great. We've done a lot of them. Our most recent being with Reformation. We did a peach blonde, and people loved it. We did a lot of research with it to see how people gravitating towards beer in 2024. And I learned so much every collaboration we do. We collab, basically when you collab on beer, you are basically learning new techniques. That's what it's all about as a brewer. I'm going in saying, oh, that's how y'all get your pH to this level. And we just go back and forth, and it's a beautiful thing. Our approach to building the brand, to me, is like building the identity. Like, to go back to sports, what's your identity on the court? Are you a defensive team? Are you a fast running team? Are you a slow paced team or a fast team? You got to figure that out and stick to it. If it ain't working midway through the season, you make changes. But even after the first 5 losses, 0-5, stick to our strategy, bro. We believe that this is gonna work for us. We built a team around this idea. So you got to stick with it. We 0-6, all right? Keep it going. I see little wins. We lost another game, but that fourth quarter looked pretty good. We executed what we was trying to do. As an entrepreneur, you have to be able to identify if you're clicking on all cylinders. Like I heard Dion say, y'all guys better beat us now before we get good, prime time. He said that about his team, and that stuck with me. He said, yeah, y'all better get your wins on us now, because we're figuring this thing out. And that's the mentality I love. It's like, I keep it humble. People come into Atlantucky and they're like, oh man, y'all, this is amazing, y'all did it. And I always tell them it's a work in progress. It's a work in progress, man. If you like it now, great. You really gonna love when we get to clicking on our cylinders. So that's kind of my mentality, and I think that's what we have to have with our brand. We're Nappy Roots. Like, what would we look like coming out doing, as far as music go, coming out talking about money, bling bling, and flashing money, throwing dollars around, shooting up, doing drive-bys? That ain't Nappy Roots. We would lose our brand the moment we do that. And the same with Atlantucky. It has to be somewhat, similar to what Nappy Roots is. Friendly, open to all people. If you know Nappy Roots, you come to a Nappy Roots show, you'll see every race, everybody's welcome to be a part of what we're doing. And that has to be the same with Atlantucky. We, like I mentioned earlier, doing the small towns taught us a lot, man. There are way more places and cultures than just what I grew up around. Whether I agree with different cultures or not, you have to, once you learn to acknowledge that it's there, you can appreciate it all more, man. You can kind of understand where people come from. We did a tour called the Deplorables Tour. It was with Delax and Demon Jones. If you don't know them, it's like kind of like hip hop, country rap, but those guys are good at it. They're pioneers to it. And Big Smoke, some of the friendliest, nicest people I know. And we went in with a bunch of the crowd had a lot of Confederate flags, a lot of fuck Biden, a lot of that stuff. A lot of that stuff. And once people got to meet Nappy Roots, they like, let me look at things a little different. Nappy Roots is a lot of people's first black friend. And we take pride in educating people on who we really are. And it's easier to do that when you're chilling and having a beer with them. So that's the approach we take as Nappy Roots. What's next for Atlantucky? I'm excited, man. First of all, continuing to improve on the beer. I think our beer went from 0 to 60. We started in the garage. So now we're here with a nice bubbly beer in AC in downtown Atlanta. It's a beautiful thing, but I wish I could compare the beer we made in the garage, if I had a glass of it, to what we have right now. I think you will see a beer that is 100 times better. And I'm proud of that. I can only imagine where we'll be in 4 years. So that's the excitement for me as a brewer. But Atlantucky, we now have our liquor license. We turned into a brew pub back in February, I think. And so we had pizza, which I think is probably top 3 pizza in Atlanta. I'm a little biased, but I'm gonna stick to it. I think it's top 3 pizza in Atlanta. Shout out to Slim and Husky. I love Slim and Huskies. But Atlantucky makes great pizza. So we have that. We'll have liquor so we can do more events like wedding recitals and different things that really require spirits. But we will always be about beer. That's where our heart is. That's where we started. Me and Skinny DeVille started in the garage. We believe in this beverage, man. And even if nobody believes in it, we love it. We love beer. We understand beer sales have declined in the recent 2 years for the first time in human history, but we believe in this product. But even more than that, we believe in Atlantucky. And it's a brand that I love just as much as Nappy Roots. So yeah, man, come down if you're anywhere near Atlanta. Or if you ain't, make a way to Atlantucky. We're on Google Maps, Apple Maps, whatever you type it in, Atlantucky. Y'all, I want to thank y'all for tuning in to my studio stories. It's been fun. It's been therapy for me as well. I love talking about what we're doing as Nappy Roots in Atlantucky. So again, if you're anywhere around, man, come through, experience the stuff I was talking about. We take a lot of pride in Atlantucky and Nappy Roots. So music on all platforms. You can find us at Nappy Roots on Instagram, at Nappy Roots on Facebook, at Nappy Roots on Twitter X. Google us, man. We've been around for a long time. Nappy Roots. Keep it nappy.